mean, the initial months might be hard, like you might struggle
Mm.
because you are building you're building something completely from scratch, but gradually you'll get there. So I think I give a lot of examples to her, and I actually showed her newspaper clippings, and I made her read articles of how people are doing really well as freelancers also.
I was supposed to write about women's issues, which are very close to my heart. I really feel that India needs to go, I mean, there's a lot that India needs to do in order to elevate the status of women.
Okay, okay. In between, I have one question, and I'm really curious to ask this. Is that like the people like Ranveer Labadia, Raj Shamani, or any other entrepreneur? So, do they also hire the ghostwriter? So, hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm thrilled to have you, Charvi, joining us today.
Thank you so much, Hanshika. Thank you for inviting me to this podcast. And I'm looking forward to the conversations that we'll be having today.
Sure. So, guys, we're gonna talk about automation, WhatsApp marketing, freelancing, ghost marketing, and also Chavi leaving her job and starting freelancing, and many more. But Chavi, before further ado, I would like you to introduce yourself quickly to the audience.
Right. So my name is Charvi Kathuria, and I am a social media consultant. When I say social media consultancy, I mean I'm a LinkedIn ghostwriter and a WhatsApp marketer. And I mean, let's wait for this podcast to unfold so that it becomes easier for you to understand what LinkedIn ghostwriting and WhatsApp marketing is all about.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So when I went through your profile, a LinkedIn profile, Chavi, I found that you started your professional journey with a media startup and worked there for 5 years before becoming a freelancer. So can you just take us through your entire journey? What was your job role and what did you learn?
Right. So, Hanshika, right after graduation, right, I grabbed this opportunity to intern at a media organization. And my main task was to write content for the website. Okay. And when I say website, it means writing long articles, writing short articles, interviewing women, ordinary women who have done something extraordinary in their lives. So, I used to write a lot of content and I was very happy doing that because I love writing. And in fact, this was one field I wanted to get into. And I was quite fortunate to have bagged that internship. And, the best moment I would say of my life was when I got a call from the HR of the company, and she told me that they want to offer a full-time job to me because they were very happy with my performance while I was interning with the organization. So that's how I bagged a full-time job also. And being very honest, I actually felt that it was, I've landed my dream job, and I'll tell you the various reasons behind it. That was because, I get to write, which is something I'm extremely
You
passionate
passionate
about.
about,
Then
yeah.
second, yes, yes. And second, I was supposed to write about women's issues, which are very close to my heart. I really feel that, India needs to go. I mean, there's a lot that India needs to do in order to elevate the status of women. And I thought
Woman.
that I finally found an opportunity which could, help me contribute to this change in my own way. So I was very happy doing that. And it was a work from home opportunity. So, as it is, I don't like traveling much. I don't like commuting to the office and, going to a workplace. So that, because I really feel, that there's a lot of hassle in that. So you can, if you can stay at your home and, work in your comfort zone, I think there's nothing better than that. So I think I was enjoying everything about my work actually, and now obviously they wanted me to work full time for that. And I knew that my workload would increase, but it also meant that I'll be learning a lot more things than I was doing earlier. And so I did not have any issue. It was a startup, it was a fledgling, and I knew that, it had a lot of potential because the person who was leading it, the founder, she's one of the, most renowned people in the media industry. And I knew that if she has started something, then, there's definitely a lot of substance in what she's doing. And I thought my future there would be bright. So I took this leap of faith. I said yes to them, and I said yes to the full time opportunity as well. And it's been I. I mean, after that, I worked with them for 5.5 years, and it was an adventurous ride. I loved it. I'll get into the details also. So I know, as I mentioned initially, I would just do a lot of content writing for them. Okay. But after 6 months, I think seeing my potential, and because I think they thought that I was a very versatile writer, like I could write in various formats, I think that made them think that I could maybe a good fit for the role of a social media manager also. So besides writing, I was now also handling the company's social media pages, which included Twitter, which included LinkedIn and WhatsApp. So I was handling these three things apart
So it
from
was
writing,
back
which I
when
was
you were
doing.
doing
But
job. It was back when you were doing job,
sorry?
right? It was back when you were doing
Yes, yes,
job.
yes. I'm talking everything. Right, right. Everything I'm talking is about my 5.5 year stint at the media startup that I just mentioned, right? So, and I was really enjoying writing for social media. I'll tell you why. There's a difference when you write a blog. You write a blog, it gets published, but you never get to know the response that it gets, because nobody really, like maybe some people, they like your blogs, but there's no instant way of knowing whether the what you have written, whether it resonated with the audience or not. But when you write on social media, the response that you get is very quick. I'll give you an example. So I just mentioned that I was handling the company's Twitter handle. So when I would post something, you know within say 30 minutes, I would get a lot of retweets. I mean, the content would get a lot of retweets, there would be comments. So within 30 minutes, I know that, okay, this is working, this is not working. And, it was very gratifying because you are getting instant response. So
Correct,
it
yeah.
gave me a lot of satisfaction. So besides
Hmm.
writing for the website, I enjoyed writing for social media. And then I started handling the company's LinkedIn page also, so I got a sense of how LinkedIn works. The fabric of all these social media platforms, I got familiar with it. WhatsApp, how do the differences that so I actually, earlier I used to think, okay, there are so many social media platforms, god knows, why are people coming up with so many social media platforms when their objective is the same, which is to spread information. But once
Correct,
I
yeah.
started handling them individually, I realized that the content that goes on Twitter is very different from the content that goes on LinkedIn. The audience is different. The way of writing the content is different. So I started understanding all these nuances, which is helping me now as a freelancer. So, after this social media, I was handling social media besides writing. And then I also got into interviewing a lot of women entrepreneurs. So I would go to various cities across the country, and I would have interviews scheduled with them, and I would speak to them one on one about their journeys, what compelled them to quit their jobs, start afresh, build companies, manage employees. I talked about their, the amount of money that they were making and how fulfilling entrepreneurship is for them. So that all was very, very exciting. But, there came a time, Hanshika, when I felt that, just interviewing these women entrepreneurs wasn't enough. Like there came a time when I had interviewed about 50, 60 women entrepreneurs, and I was quite bored of it because I was like, I can't keep interviewing them, right? There is something else also that I need to do to contribute or to support them in a more meaningful manner, right? Okay, I
Like
mean, I'm
you
listening to their
have heard
stories.
the
I'm
stories. Yeah, you have heard the stories,
exactly.
but more than that, listening to the stories to do something and to contribute to the to back to those women. you were listening to. That was
Exactly,
your
exactly.
motion.
I mean, right. So I was like, okay, I've listened to their story, and now what can I do to help them? Like, how do I support them? So I started thinking on those lines. So I really wanted to help women entrepreneurs, and I thought I have a lot of skills which could help these entrepreneurs reach wherever they want to. So that's how I actually thought of, and it had already been 5.5 years at this media startup I was working at. So I thought of quitting it. I gave some time to myself. I introspected, and I realized that, okay, I have a lot of skills, and I can actually help women entrepreneurs, big or small, by pitching my services to them and helping them, reach wherever they want to in their journeys. So yeah, this pretty much sums up my professional journey. I mean, the time when I was working as a full-time employee for 5.5 years. Yeah.
Your journey of 5 years is very interesting, like how you have started your journey from media and interviewing women entrepreneurs. So there was a lot to learn, right? When while you were interviewing those entrepreneurs, and then you take this step, know that it is not only that I just have to learn the story and heard the story of these entrepreneurs. Now it's time to take a step to do something for them. So like
Right.
that's pretty interesting, and I really appreciate you that you are doing something. And there is a thing like कहते बहुत लोग हैं पर करते बहुत कम लोग हैं, तो you are one of them that you are doing really. So that's really interesting, and I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you, Anshika. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So like let's move to the next question. What I have to ask you is that you mentioned that you joined your journey in early 20s, like you joined startup in early 20s, so you must have learned a lot. So would you advise, what is your advice to the youngsters who want to join the startup in their early age, and why should they join and why not?
Right, right. So, I was 21 when I started interning with this media startup. And the sole reason which attracted me to this startup was because I mean, I had heard a lot about how, startups, they kind of train you and you become very focused and you learn multitasking. So I wanted to learn all these skills. I mean, I was a bit tired of theory. I really wanted to learn the practical aspects of things, and especially media. You can learn about this field is so vast that you can learn about it only once you get into it completely, right? You can't learn about media just by reading it. You have to write stories, you have to interview people, you have to see how ideas are exchanged and everything is done. So my plan was actually to pursue my post graduation in mass communication, right? From one of the esteemed universities of the country. But then I thought, let me just gain some work experience, because and I already had this opportunity with me. So I was like, okay, I mean, let me experiment. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Maybe after 6 months I feel that no, okay, maybe I want to I need to build a foundation first, and then I can always join a media school, to gain more knowledge. But thankfully that did not happen, and I learned everything. Once I got into the job there, my boss, she's as I mentioned that, she's a veteran in her field, and she was there to guide me. And because it was a startup, there were so many things that I was doing at a young age, which other media professionals, they get to do when they are maybe 5 or 6 years after they join a particular industry. So I was quite fortunate that ways. But that's my journey, and that was the risk I took. But so people, like, I have heard a lot of people say that this is the best career path you can opt for, that after college join a startup and then experiment and then join another startup, learn more skills. So I feel there is no universal path as such which needs to be followed. It totally depends on what you want from life. So I have a lot of my friends also who bagged good paying jobs I mean, they are in corporates or different fields, and they went for like high paying jobs. And so and they are doing equally well, in the sense that, so I mean, they can obviously quit their jobs when they feel that, okay, they have earned enough money, and then they can start something of this kind. So everyone has different priorities, right? I didn't have the pressure to earn, right, in the beginning of, in the initial years of my career. So I took this leap of faith. I knew that it's okay even if I don't earn a lot of money in the initial few years. That was completely fine, because I wanted to devote that time just to learning, just to learn, right? But everyone has different priorities, and it's completely fine if people, they want to do something else after college. This was my journey, and I manifested it. I am enjoying the fruits of it. It worked for me, but it might not work for somebody else. And but I must say that the lessons that I have learned after joining this particular startup have been like innumerable lessons I've learned. So, one is time management, then, how to be disciplined, how to stay self motivated, and how to have that passion for acquiring knowledge, not only, in one field, in like multiple fields. Because once you are a part of a media platform, you have to stay abreast of what's happening across the world, and not just your area or your country, across the world, right? So it kind of, I think, made me smarter. And it also, I think I also developed emotional intelligence, because when there are so many deadlines that you have to follow, and so many targets to meet, obviously you have to keep your emotions in check all the time. So I think I learned emotional intelligence also. So it all worked for me. It might not work for somebody else. So there is no like one universal solution for everyone. It varies from person to person, and what one wants, what a particular youngster wants from his or her life. It all depends.
Okay, fine. Is it like this goes like it depends on person to person and what they want to pursue in their life? So,
Right.
like, correct. Okay, so like the next question is that there is a trend going on that Gen Zs, जो हैं, is they are leaving their jobs 9 to 5 and switching it into the freelancing. Like I'm seeing a lot of people on LinkedIn or here, like on Instagram. It's I don't know what, but also like there is a one thing I believe there is a lot of flexibility in it. Like after COVID, it's becomes more real to the people to like shift into the freelancing culture because they it gives more flexibility to them, right? But I want to ask you from you that what was your passion to shift from freelancing while you was working in a startup, like how different it was for you?
Yeah, you mean being a full-time employee versus being a freelancer, right? You want me to um, give you the comparison?
Yeah, like how your life is different now after leaving the job.
So, Anshika, being a full-time employee is obviously very different from being a freelancer, right? Because I mean, when you are a full-time employee, you aren't really uh, I mean, you know that your job will be there, and the future of the company, I mean, the person who's worried about the future of the company is the person who has started it, the founder, right? You are more worried about your role in the bigger picture, right? So, and also, you are quite accountable to your seniors, and there's a boss you have to report to. There's a paycheck that you get after every month, and you get used to it also. There's this financial stability, right? You get paid vacation. You just need to send a mail, I won't be available from this date to this date, and that's it, it's all done. But once you become a freelancer, the first challenge you face is that, how to convince your family, because they are so accustomed to seeing you um, you know reach this financial stability, that it's very difficult for you to convince them that I'm doing something which might not be financially very rewarding in the beginning, but eventually it will give the desired results. So I think convincing them is a challenge. And then second, there's a lot of tussle going on within you also, because again, as I said, that you have become so used to being in your comfort zone, and you have reached a particular position in your company, especially in my case, because as I said, I had been working there for 5.5 years. And it was very difficult for me to let go of that tag and become a freelancer and then start on my own. I'm only accountable to myself. Each and every day is important. Each and every minute is important. So when you are working, if you are ill, you can obviously explain your task to somebody else and then they can look after it. But that's not the case when you start on your, I mean, when you are doing something of your own, because you are the sole you are the person representing yourself, your brand. So it is a challenge, and you have to stay motivated all the time. And there are times when you feel, your morale takes a beating, but you have to keep upbeat, and you have to stay upbeat, and you are like, okay, maybe something good comes up. And you have to be very, very patient with yourself also, and with God's larger plan also, I think. But one very good thing about freelancing is that you can actually structure your day according to your, like, what you like. So for example, if I feel there is some uh, client's work which I can handle better in the evening, I can do that. I can take that call, right? Because it's between me and the client. So, and because we have been working for so long, so we have built a relationship of that kind. But that's not the case when you are working under somebody. So I mean, there's a lot of flexibility, but there is also a lot more responsibility, because you are answerable to everyone directly, you know so, and also there's a lot of upskilling that keeps happening when you are a freelancer, because you have to constantly prove yourself. So you have to constantly upskill yourself. So I keep taking online courses, I keep learning, I keep reading books to, to stay at the top of everything, and to stay at the top of my game, actually. Yeah, I think that answers your question.
Okay, so in between, you have mentioned that it was very challenging for everyone. Like it was challenging for you also to convince your parents. So how you have convinced your parents?
I think the best way to convince one's parents that freelancing is also possible by, I think, you know, giving them examples, right? So I remember when I was having this conversation with my mother, I told her about a friend who took a similar path. So she also quit her job, and then she started freelancing, and she was making a lot more money than what she was making at her job. So, by giving real life examples, I think, and by assuring them that I mean, the initial months might be hard, like you might struggle because you are you're building something completely from scratch, but gradually you'll get there. So I think I gave a lot of examples to her, and I actually showed her newspaper clippings, and I made her read articles of how people are doing really well as freelancers also.
Okay, so give them example will work.
Yeah, yeah, they did. I mean, it took some time for her to get convinced, but eventually she came around.
Kind. Okay, she is so kind to you. Like she understood you that.
I'm blessed.
Correct, correct. Okay, so you are a LinkedIn ghostwriter also, right? So what do they exactly do, and how one can become a LinkedIn ghostwriter?
Okay, so whenever I tell somebody that I'm a LinkedIn ghostwriter, obviously they are curious to know what exactly does a LinkedIn ghostwriter do. So what I do is I speak to, so founders and founders, entrepreneurs, coaches, all these are really busy people, right? I mean, they have, so for instance, if I talk about an entrepreneur, there's so many things that she has to look after, in the sense that they have to look after what's going on their social media, then website. They have to continuously work on improving the quality of the product. Okay, then they are into sales also. They have to ensure that the marketing is taking place They have to look after their health also. At the same time, they are, managing their personal relationships also. So there is a lot that an entrepreneur is juggling all the time. So and they are continuously working to improve it. So there are so many real life insights that they can offer to the world, but they don't have time because there's already too much on their plate. So what they do is they hire somebody, okay, a writer, a LinkedIn ghostwriter. They share their thoughts with that person on call, on a Zoom call, or like this, video call, the way we are doing, and they share their thoughts with that person. Okay, now what that
Okay.
person does is uh, they write their word, they write their thoughts in a very LinkedIn friendly manner. So what is LinkedIn friendly manner is, so every social media platform has a different way of functioning, correct? uh, and I mean, there's a reason why there are so many social media platforms in the first place. There's Twitter. Twitter exists for a reason. LinkedIn exists for a reason. So if you want to attract, if you want to grab eyeballs on LinkedIn, there's a particular way you have to write for your LinkedIn audience. Okay, so that's the role that a LinkedIn ghostwriter plays. What he or she wants to say, what he or she wants to convey to the world, and then they put it in good words, in proper sentences, in a proper format, and they post it on their LinkedIn page, right? So that's what the role of a LinkedIn ghostwriter is. And because you are talking about I mean, we are getting into this, I also want to highlight that a lot of people feel that it's unethical on part of founders to hire such LinkedIn ghostwriters, because if they have thoughts, and if they want to share their experiences, why don't they do it themselves? Why do they outsource the entire task of expressing their thoughts? They feel it's unethical, but actually LinkedIn ghostwriters, they whatever they put out, it's not those are not the ghostwriter's thoughts. Those are actually the thoughts of the entrepreneur only. It's just that
Correct. Yeah.
they are putting their thoughts in their word. I mean, in the writer's words, because the writer
Mhm.
uh, will do a much better job of putting it,
Correct.
in words, and then putting it across on social media. So
Mhm.
that was one um, myth I wanted to debunk. And the other thing, which the second part of your question was, what does one need to do to become a LinkedIn ghostwriter, correct? So I think the
Yeah.
first thing they need to do is to be a versatile writer. So when I say versatile writer, it means that they shouldn't confine themselves to just one kind of writing. Okay, so they should be good at writing stories also. They should be good at blogs also, listicles also. So there should be versatility in the way they write. That's one.
Okay.
Then second is, because you are a LinkedIn ghostwriter, you should obviously have good sense of the platform, how it works, okay?
Mhm.
And what are the
Mhm.
kinds of formats, what are the kinds of posts that work on LinkedIn? I'll give you an example. So these days, video content is doing really well on LinkedIn. Okay. Also,
Okay.
carousels are doing really well on LinkedIn. So a LinkedIn ghostwriter must be aware of the kind of content that's working for LinkedIn, and the kind of what kind of content is the LinkedIn algorithm supporting. So
Mhm.
all that comes under the job, the responsibilities of a LinkedIn ghostwriter. Then besides that, obviously, they should know, their communication skills should be strong, right? They should have a good personality, in the sense that they should be able to understand their client's personality also, because accordingly they'll write. Okay, so for example, if somebody has a very, I would say, is very cheerful in nature, and cracking jokes all the time, has a sense of humor, then that should
Mhm.
come across in their content also. So you really need to understand the personality of the client also you are working with, so that the kind of content you write, it your personality, it reflects in the kind of content you write. So that is very important. Yeah, I mean, these three things are really important if you want to ace LinkedIn ghostwriting.
Okay, okay. In between, I have one question, and I'm really curious to ask this. is that like the people like Ranveer Labadia, Raj Shamani, or any other entrepreneur, like there is a lot of entrepreneurs is there. So do they also hire the ghostwriter?
Of course, they do. I mean, the thoughts are theirs. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure they are a part of. I mean, they are the one dictating everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the writing part and everything, I'm sure they have a huge team. In fact, Ankur Variku, for example, as a matter of fact, he
Yeah.
has a team. Yeah, it's called Vari Crew, if I'm not wrong. So he has a
Ankur
team,
Warikoo.
and
Yeah.
yeah, he has a team, and I mean, they write posts for him. It gets, obviously, the thoughts are his. I mean, he has
Mm.
such an extensive experience and such a huge
Yes,
body of
yes.
work. Thoughts are
Yeah.
his, but obviously, the way it has to be put on LinkedIn, you need specialists for that, right? There are special people who
Mm.
have this technical knowledge. So yeah, this is outsourced. A lot of, see, I mean, I don't know about this a particular person, but normally these LinkedIn influencers, especially who are into
Mm-hmm.
multiple things, right? They have
Mm-hmm.
influencers, these, they aren't just confined to LinkedIn. They are on Instagram also, they are on Facebook also, they are on Twitter also. So obviously you can't imagine one person to be creating content for himself or herself on all these social media platforms by themselves. Now it's next to impossible. Like, how will they focus on what they are known for? So obviously, they
Mm.
outsource everything.
That's pretty interesting. Like that's pretty interesting. Hmm. Yeah, because they are doing a lot of things. They are like, I think their first job is to showcase themselves and be there in front of the audience, and everything is going on behind is in the hand of team. I get it. I get it. Okay, so your services also includes WhatsApp marketing and for D2C entrepreneurship. So, very few people believe that WhatsApp marketing and automation can boost their sales, right? So, what do you think, and how do you convince them about the same?
Right. So, Hanshika, when it comes to D2C entrepreneurs and social media marketing, a lot of entrepreneurs I've
Mm.
spoken to so far, they live in this bubble that what social media marketing is confined to, say, Instagram, Facebook,
Mm.
Twitter, okay? And most
Mm-hmm.
of them, they do not include WhatsApp as a platform
Your
and
voice is
I
breaking.
think this is because a lot of them think that WhatsApp. Yeah. So I think that's because a lot of them think that WhatsApp, it's a messaging app, right? So how can somebody use it for their business? So that's a myth. That's, as I said, it's a bubble. Everyone is living in that. No, WhatsApp is just for communication. Like, how can somebody sell through WhatsApp? And I on the other hand, I want to convince them that no, WhatsApp marketing is a great opportunity for them to showcase their products, to market themselves, to build a personal bond, a personal relationship with the customers, and ensure that they come back to them again whenever they are looking for the same product. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Now, whenever you go to a market, okay, like a huge market with a lot of shops, and one single product is sold by a number of shops. So what you do,
Mm-hmm.
you go to the shop which you are more familiar with, right? And you go to the shop where you feel that, okay, I'll be welcomed in a better manner, or you feel that the shop owner or the shopkeeper, the salesperson, is better at convincing you, and they give you all the time and attention that is required to ensure that the product that you are buying is a good product. Okay, so obviously, you automatically get biased towards that shop, and you straight away go to that particular shop. Now this is when you are buying something offline, because you know that okay, you'll be walking, here comes the shop I want to get into, the showroom I want to get into. You get in there, you know the product, you know the shop owner, you know that he or she is a friendly person and they'll help me choose whatever I want to, and that's it. You do not explore any other shop because the time is less and you really want to just get the product and come back and get busy with whatever you were doing. But now in this
Correct.
online world, there are so many brands selling the same thing. How do you build a relationship with your customers? Okay. So
Mhm.
one way of doing it is by getting into their WhatsApp, and after you have sold something to them, ensuring that they remember you. Now how will they remember you? Okay, they'll remember you if you, for example, send them birthday messages. Okay, they'll remember you.
Okay.
Or if you ask them for for instance, if you sold say a pickle jar to them, okay, and after some
Mhm.
time, after they have received the pickle jar and they have tried it, you ask them for feedback, so they'll remember you. So after some time, if you get back to them again, and if you tell them that okay, do you want to buy another bottle of pickle from us, and these are the other pickle, the other variety of pickles that we have added, then chances are that they'll remember you and they might purchase from you again. So that's how you build a relationship with your customer and ensure that they reach out to you again and again whenever they have to buy something. So WhatsApp enables
Mhm.
that. Okay. In other platforms, they do not, because they are more focused on selling. But how do you build a relationship with your customers and ensure that your old customers get back to you again and again? It was easy in the offline world because there's a market, here's the showroom, the person is sitting right in front of you. But that's not the case
Mhm.
with the online marketing, right?
It's very rare that a customer gets to meet the founder behind, gets to meet the person behind those products, right? Because obviously it's
Hmm.
online and it's not very interactive. So that's where WhatsApp marketing plays an important role. And if the strategies that I know, if entrepreneurs, they really apply those strategies and they build a relationship with them, small things that like updating WhatsApp status on a daily basis, or wishing
Hmm.
customers uh, on their birthday, on their anniversaries, or wishing them happy Diwali, and then telling them more about their products. That kind of builds a personal bond with the customers, and the chances of them getting back to you for buying the product are more. That's how WhatsApp marketing helps.
Perfect. Like you have given a lot of the sneak peek about the WhatsApp marketing, and the thing is that the you are saying I was reading a book or something. I don't know. Maybe I was listening a podcast. तो वहाँ पर किसी ने क्या बोला था कि इंडिया का most of the business is happening through WhatsApp. So the bubble you are saying is right. Like this bubble needs to be burst.
Right,
कि
right.
it's not happening through WhatsApp because the connection we make on WhatsApp, it cannot be done on any other social media. It's a
Yeah,
very
because
friendly and like kind of family wala platform. So
right, right.
it's true.
And it's very rare that people, they it's very rare for people to not reply on WhatsApp. you know it's like a
Okay.
compulsion. You have to reply on WhatsApp. So I think it's something that entrepreneurs should definitely explore, WhatsApp marketing, depending on the scale of their business. And the best thing is that WhatsApp business, I mean, we have been talking about WhatsApp for so long, but it's actually WhatsApp business that has been rolled out, and
Hmm.
it's been so long. And the main reason why WhatsApp business exists is to help entrepreneurs, to help small entrepreneurs. So it's great if people could actually explore these features and start using it.
Fine, perfect. Like, just give me a little bit more information about how one should start exploring the WhatsApp marketing and how what are the other options they should need to explore.
Right, right. So, to answer it in a more, I would say, in a better manner, I would take an example of a pickle brand that I recently worked with. Okay. So, this particular entrepreneur from Goa, she runs, it's a homegrown pickle brand, and she sells variety of pickles, and she uses her mother's recipes to make them, and the pickles are a hit among her customers. So she had been using WhatsApp, but the usage of WhatsApp was very limited. Okay. So for example, I mean, people would inquire and she would just tell them that, okay, this is the price, and she would send them like a PDF which had all the details of the pickles that she sells, and they would I mean, she would ask for payment. She would ask them to choose the pickle they want to buy, and then they would choose, and she would tell them the payment to be made. She would share her GPay, Paytm details. The payment was made, khatam. So there was no other interaction beyond that. Okay. So when I came in, I told her that there are so many ways she can ensure that the person gets back to her. I mean, the customer journey shouldn't end after the first purchase. You have to think of ways to ensure that whenever the same customer wants to buy the pickle again, she reaches out to the same entrepreneur. So, I told her a lot of tricks. So, for example, like after every, I would say, 1 or 2 months, she can ping her, and she can tell her that, there are many more varieties of pickles that she has added to her menu, and if she would like to check them out. So that's one. Then, second, I asked her to share her birthday with her, like birthday details with her. So, whenever I mean, on her birthday, she can share a very personalized message saying that, happy birthday from the name of the brand. So that will, in a way, feel the customer, the customer will get happy, because obviously the brand is remembering a customer's birthday. So that's a big thing. It's like you are strengthening the relationship between the customer and the entrepreneur, the person who's selling it. So that's another.
Like I remember on my birthday, like the sim we use, Airtel or Geo or from even bank, they used to send us the message so we remember.
Yes, yes. And because obviously on your birthday, imagine a brand you bought something from, they are wishing you. So obviously it's a great thing, and you want to buy the same product from them, because see, let's just admit it, Hanshika, that we are bombarded with information all the time, right? We are on phone all the time, and there is so much happening on our phones in the world in general that we tend to forget the names of the brands we bought something from. So, how do we create that brand recall? So you can create that brand recall through WhatsApp. Now, another challenge which which this entrepreneur I was working with, the pickle entrepreneur, that she hadn't linked her Instagram to her WhatsApp. Okay, so for example, on Instagram, if somebody, so she had showcased all her products on her Instagram page. Okay, there was a message option also, but a lot of people find it more convenient to chat with somebody on WhatsApp than on Instagram DM, right? So she had not mentioned her WhatsApp details on her Instagram, right? So I asked her to do that. I asked her to share her WhatsApp link. There's a WhatsApp link that gets generated automatically using internet, and I asked her to share that on her. I mean, to add that in her Instagram bio. उससे क्या होगा? A person who comes across her Instagram page, goes through the products, but wants to ask something, wants to chat, or just wants to know the person behind it in a better manner, they can always click on that chat option, and they get redirected to her WhatsApp number, and then they can initiate a conversation. So that kind of builds a strong bond, right? And then another thing that I suggested her was, there is a feature called, it's there's a free Google Chrome extension. It's called I think sheet store link, something of this kind. So what it does is, it creates an e-commerce store for you. Okay, and whenever somebody buys something from that store, I mean, so just like you go to a website and there is a cart, you add products to the cart, and then you check out, and then you make the payment. Similarly, there's a e-commerce store that gets created using Excel, okay, using spreadsheet. And whenever somebody buys something from there, you automatically get the notification on WhatsApp. Okay, so if somebody is buying that, what happens is you automatically get their WhatsApp details. then you don't have to actually go and see who bought it from the website, because on the website there's no such option for small entrepreneurs, right? So this is one great way. I mean, you uh, share that store link with everyone, and whenever somebody buys something, they click on. I mean, the option itself says order on WhatsApp. So the person has to order via WhatsApp only. There is no other way. And when they click on order via WhatsApp, you automatically get the details of the person, what they have bought, where they live, everything on your phone. So, there's no way they can escape WhatsApp. So I think that's one of the best ways one can integrate. And there are many more things that are happening in the WhatsApp world these days. I mean, I recently read, in fact, today morning only, there was this WhatsApp notification, which I'm sure most of the Indians must have got on their phone, that one can now share a voice note on WhatsApp status. So, I mean, till now it had just been images, text, and videos, right? Now you can share voice notes also on WhatsApp status. So, I mean, businesses can make use of this feature also. Like if they want to announce something, if there's a campaign that they are running, they can notify their customers using that option on WhatsApp. So, I mean, how intriguing is that? Imagine.
Yeah, that is right. Like, it can make a huge difference when you are using the voice note on the status.
Right,
You can
right.
add more value. Chavi, what do you do in your free time? Like, we have talked about your profession, your career.
Yeah, so free time, I mean, it's not very, I mean, it's not very common for me to get, to be free. But especially when I was working for this startup, there wasn't a lot of free time I used to get, because, the schedule used to be very hectic. But now as a freelancer, you do get a lot of free, not a lot of, but yeah, I mean, you still manage to spare some time out of your schedule and recharge. So in my free time, I'm fond of reading. Okay, I love reading books around productivity, books around the future of humanity. I love reading the newspaper. I read the newspaper every day, especially this column. It's called The Speaking Tree, and it has a lot of insights into how one should lead their life. So I love reading that. Besides that, I love teaching also. I'm quite passionate about writing. So I teach a group of students. I help them in writing, because students these days, when it comes to putting their thoughts into words, they struggle with that. So I help them with that. Besides that, these days, in fact, I'm exploring AI. So, artificial intelligence, it has taken the internet and the world by storm. So I keep reading about it, the new tools that are coming in the industry, especially in my field, and how I can make use of these AI tools to become an efficient freelancer, right? So I keep reading about these tools. Yeah, I mean, that's what I do in my free time. And I love watching movies. So, yeah.
What movies do you watch?
What movies do I watch? So, I
The
mean,
last movie you have watched?
the last movie I watched was, I think, Kapoor and Sons. I watched Kapoor and Sons. I don't know, I just felt like watching it. So I rewatched it. It's not as if I was watching it for the first
Ah,
time. I think, watching it
hmm.
for the fifth or sixth time. And I also watched Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara recently. And that too I have
Okay.
watched many times, but I just felt like watching it again. It fills me with positivity.
Fine, fine. Interesting. So I think this would be my last question. I would like to ask you, what is your future plan when it comes to the freelancing? Also, maybe WhatsApp marketing, or what's your future plans?
Right, right. So, because Hanshika, I've just begun my freelancing journey, so I'm sure there is a lot to learn, right? So I think my future plan includes building my personal brand on LinkedIn. The journey has already started, okay, but I really want to, reach a certain level which I have in my mind, because personal brand is everything these days. Like if you have a strong personal brand, you'll have a lot of opportunities knocking your door. So building my personal brand is a part of my future plan. Besides that, so at the moment I am only helping small women, women, entrepreneurs running small businesses with WhatsApp marketing, right? So in the future I want to help, I would say, entrepreneurs running medium sized enterprises also, not just small entrepreneurs, but like bigger entrepreneurs also with WhatsApp marketing. But there are different tools for that. There's a lot more knowledge that I'll have to acquire to help them. That's a part of my, that's in the pipeline. And there is another thing I'm quite fascinated by. It's called memory coaching. Okay, so it's basically you learn the various tricks and tips that can help somebody boost their memory. Okay, and which will eventually help them in their professional life and personal life. And it can do a lot of wonders for students, because students these days, there's so much that they have to memorize, because Indian education system, it's based on how well you memorize, right? Let's just face it. So I'm constantly thinking of ways to make these students better at memorizing stuff so that they score well in their exams. Okay, and it's a vast field, and I actually want to focus on, because I'm into writing and I'm into words, so I want to focus on people's spelling. Okay, because a lot of people, a lot of students, they make a lot of spelling mistakes, which um, because of which they aren't able to score well in their exams, and they aren't able to ace their exams. So I really feel that if they are able to overcome this spelling problem of theirs, it can do wonders for them. So I think my future plan also includes becoming a spelling coach and teaching students how to like the certain tricks and tips that can help them remember spellings for a long time and not repeat those mistakes again and again. Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting. Like, I have not never thought that spelling coach could be also a career. I was not known about that. Like, there is a lot of things one can do and lots of opportunity in India if one want to pursue, right?
Right, right. And because the country, it has such a diverse population, so you can always make
Hmm.
the most of this diversity. I mean, challenges are there, but there are a lot of solutions as well. It's just about finding the right solution and pitching them to the right set of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people we are reaching out, it should be it matters.
Yeah, of
Whom
course,
we
of
are
course.
reaching, it matters a lot,
And how
I
we are
think.
reaching out to them,
Correct, correct.
the medium also
How we are
matters a lot.
reaching us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Correct, correct, correct. Okay, so Charvi, I would love to end this podcast on this note. Anything you want to say in the end to the audience?
Yeah, I
Please
think I
go
would
ahead.
just want to say that the kind of the times that we are living in, one cannot get complacent. Okay, by that I mean that you cannot get stuck in your comfort zone. You need to come out of it. You need to keep exploring something or the other. Earlier it used to happen, especially in our parents' generation, that once they bag a job, that's it. Their life is set, and then they can do whatever they want, and the money will keep coming in. But unfortunately, that's not the case now, because everything is changing so rapidly. There's so many advancements happening, so many AI tools coming in. Like every day, I read about 100 new AI tools that are getting launched. So it's exciting also, and it's terrifying also at the same time. So I think I would just want to say that you cannot be being stagnant at what you are doing isn't an option anymore. You need to keep unlearning and relearning all the time. Keep upskilling, be aware, be mentally alert. What is the other person doing? Look for more opportunities also. And if even if you are in a job, that's fine. There's so many skills that you learn when you are working under someone, and there's so many skills that you learn while being an entrepreneur. but the most important thing is to keep learning and not stopping, because that's what is going to help you in the long run. Because your career is, it's such a long journey. I mean, you have to work for 40 to 50 years of your life. I mean, 30 to 40 years of your life. And if you lose the zeal to work and to learn new things, then you will stagnate, and then you will eventually be thrown out of this entire thing, and you'll never be able to enjoy your work. So you have to keep learning new things and chartering your own path, and nobody's going to help you. We all are on our own only. Yeah, that's my, these are my parting words.
So, Chavi, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope this conversation make people understood a little bit about automation, WhatsApp marketing, freelancing, and it I hope it add a value to the audience.
Yeah, you're most welcome, Hanshika, and thank you for reaching out to me. And I mean, it was great talking to you about all these things that I do, and all the best for
Hmm.
all the podcasts that you record with other participants. Also, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chavi. Thank